everybody, it's Rich Norton here. One-on-one training. That has been fantastic. That's what we've been doing. That's the series that we're in right now. One-on-one training with Rich Norton. And I've been doing this with several representatives. We just got done with a group. There was 2 people that we did it with, and one of the representatives gave a nice testimony, and she's already doing wonderful as written merchants. She says, I'm going to be on that leaderboard. You'll see my name on there, and she's already doing that already. So I'm excited really to teach all this stuff. When I'm thinking about this and reflecting on it, is that there really is no secret formula to what we do. You know, a lot of it really, most of it is just really from here in the mindset. And you see so many different styles that are out there. I mean, I talk to so many different representatives, and they all work as long as you work. You know, we talk about that a lot. It works as long as you work. Now, we all have unique personalities. We're all different. I can't be you. You can't be me. I can't be that person. However, what we can do is to teach you the fundamentals on how to be successful. Knowledge breeds confidence, and it's important that you have a nice, simple presentation where you're not all over the map. You got to make sure that everything flows and you're conveying the message that you're helping the merchant, and you know what you're talking about, and you're going to find the best solution for the merchant. That's very, very important, and it's important that the merchant sees and understands that you know what you're talking about. You're not the typical merchant service representative that's out there just trying to make a buck. Most of them, unfortunately, there's a bad names out there. They misrepresent. They unfortunately lie. Some of them don't know what they're talking about. Some are here today, gone tomorrow. No loyalty to their company, and that's unfortunate. So it's important that you get with the right company, which we know that's what we are. Retriever Merchant Solutions, we're fantastic. I've been doing this since 2002 with Retriever. Every year has been better than the previous year for me, and that includes the year 2020, which has been a crazy, ridiculous year. It's still financially has been a better year than 2019. Now, I'm truly blessed to be able to say that. That's incredible because not many people can say that. It's been a crazy, crazy year. So we're teaching you all this information here to help you succeed, to give you the fundamentals. Again, no secret formula, no scientific method. All you have to do is apply yourself and go out and talk to merchants. Having fun and making money. If you're out there making calls and you commit to becoming successful and you don't look back, you keep marching forward, you are going to have great success. Bottom line. Because representatives are doing it all throughout the country. The ones that succeed are the ones that make that commitment. The ones that don't are the ones that don't make a commitment. It's simple as that. You can't do this part-time. You can't give it the old college try. You can't say, I'm going to go out and, a couple hours a day and I'm going to do this and do that. It doesn't work. You either make a commitment or you don't make a commitment. Simple as that. If you make a commitment for a long period of time, guess what happens? You can become super wealthy. No secret formula. If anybody tells you there are get-rich-quick schemes out there, that's all they are. There's no such thing. Everybody wants that. They want. People say everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die, right? People say that. So in our industry, it takes hard work. It takes a commitment. Are you going to fail? No doubt about it. Are you going to make mistakes? No doubt about it. Will you struggle? Will you go through challenges? Yes, you will. But the good news is you can have great success right out of the gate. No question about that. But every year gets better. The hardest year is your first year. Second year it gets better. Third year it gets better. And our slogan is, it keeps getting better. No doubt about that. And we have testimonies all around the country proving that, showing that, and that's what we do with RMS, especially within our super crew. So I'm really happy to share all this information. Again, lots of information. It's going to help you to become successful. Take it, learn it, apply it. How do I know it works? Because it works for me, and it's been working for me for years. I've perfected it, made it better, improved on it, going to keep improving on it. That's why we keep doing these shows, to introduce you to some more information that's going to help you to become successful. So that's what I want to share up front. This is one-on-one training with Rich Norton. I believe this is episode 11. We're kind of going through it. And again, we're not going to rush through it. We're going to take our time. I'm going to give you all the tools. Some of them will be reviews, but I'm going to give you all the tools that we train new representatives in our one-on-one training program, so that all of you can do exactly what I do. So let's take a short break. We're going to get into traditional processing a little bit more. We left on that on our last show. We're going to cover a little bit more about statements a little bit, what interchange means. So it might get a little bit boring stuff, but it's stuff that you need to know, because knowledge breeds confidence. Sharing information that most merchants don't know about, and really most representatives in this industry don't know about. So the knowledge will breed the confidence. So let's take a short break. I'll be right back. Hey, it's Rich Norton with Retriever Merchant Solutions. I want to thank all of you for watching our shows. We're hearing a lot of great positive feedback, and I'm hearing a lot from different representatives from other merchant service companies, which is fantastic. And people are telling me, man, we've got sales teams watching your shows, but I want to be on your team. And how do I get started? How do I qualify? How can I work with your company? I love what you're doing. I love the people. I love all the shows. You guys have a lot of enthusiasm, you have a lot of direction, a lot of discipline, and great things are happening. I'm seeing representatives win trips, and I want to have that lifestyle. I want to be part of a team like that, because many of the representatives that we're talking to are coming from other merchant service companies, and no big deal, nothing bad against them, but a lot of stories that I'm hearing is that they're feeling like they're lone rangers. They've started out with a company and they got a little bit of training, maybe watched a couple videos, and then they're kind of thrown out there like, go out there and do it, good luck, you're on your own, and that's it. And a lot of them are falling flat on their face, they're struggling along, they're putt-putting along, and they're getting kind of discouraged. Well, I want you to know at Retriever Merchant Solutions, especially within my group, the RPS Super Group, you will never feel that way. We are here for your success. What separates us from everybody else is that we put a lot of time, a lot of effort, and we work together as a team. We will make sure that you're going to have great success as long as you're willing to put forth the effort. Now, people may say, what is the key to success? How am I going to have success in your industry? I want to be successful. Well, it's bottom line, two things. It's all about attitude. I always say this, attitude, attitude, attitude. Believe in what you're doing. I can put all that as one thing. And go to work. Attitude, belief, go to work. All right, if you do that, you're going to have great success. So if you're looking for an amazing opportunity and you want to join a winning team, give me a call. The email is right here. You'll see that. But also you can call me directly. You can call me on my cell phone, 904-434-4635. You can shoot me a text. I'll get back with you. I keep busy, but I will get back with you. And you can join a winning team, and we will help you have all your dreams come true. All right, you got Rich Norton back here with you, and we're going to get into a little bit more about traditional processing. And again, we'll review a couple things, and I don't want to rush through this. Let's think about, for example, the cash discount program. That's cut and dry. Customer pays the processing fee. You got one monthly fee, very simple. And there's many merchant companies that's all they're presenting right now, and that's all, and they're missing a lot. Where my philosophy is, cash discount is wonderful. It's a wonderful program for merchants. It's also a wonderful tool for us making a lot of money, but again, it's not for everybody. That's where the traditional processing comes in. So when you have found out that you're with a merchant and cash discount was not an option, where they may have said, you know what, that just doesn't work for us, we don't want to charge the customer. Whatever they say, please listen, agree with them. Agree with them. We don't want to do that. We don't want to, I totally understand. You gave them one objection. That's fine. They still said no. I completely agree with you, because the cash discount program, it's good for certain merchants, but for other merchants, it's not. I tend to agree with you. Here's the good news. I'm transitioning right now. I'm going to get into traditional processing right now. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to explain to them, we are the #1 direct processor. My job's easy. This is a win-win situation for our merchants, because they're going to save on traditional processing with what you're doing right now, anywhere from 20 to 50 to 60%. And they're going to be dealing with a direct processor, and they're going to get great customer service, and all of them love the fact they're dealing with me face to face, someone with integrity, someone that's been doing this for a long time. So I'm giving the benefits right there, and now I'm going to lead into it. Now the way I lead into it, I'll say this to the merchant. Now tell me if this sounds familiar. Typical merchant service rep will come in, or they'll call you on the phone, and they'll say, hey, this is so-and-so from Merchant Services. We're going to save you a bunch of money. Can you fax us over your statement? We want to see your statement. Or we're going to have a guy stop by tomorrow, and he wants to look at your statement. Does that sound familiar? Oh, yeah, we get calls like that all the time. So you see what I'm doing right now is I'm siding up with the merchant. I'm on the merchant side. And what I'm doing, rather than saying that I'm different, I'm showing how we're different from everybody else. Now I'm going to explain why they do that. The reason why they do that is they want to know how high you're paying, what all your fees are, and then they're just going to knock off a couple bucks off. And that's what they do. Does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, that's right. Why do I need to show somebody my statement? I agree with you. It's not necessary to have to show the statement. What we do is the exact opposite. Now what I'm doing here is I'm building confidence from the merchant. Part of the whole program, we're building confidence. We're helping the merchant. So what I do is the exact opposite. I don't need to look at your statement. I know what your merchant service company charges. I've helped many merchants that have been with the same exact company that you're already with. So if you wanted to show me a statement, that's more for your benefit than it is mine. The biggest complaint is most merchants don't get a statement, so they have no idea what the fees are, and the ones that do get a statement, they can't read the thing at all. Does that sound familiar? Oh yeah, we don't even get one. All I know is a bunch of money comes out every month. So now I've got a nice rapport going on with the merchant. And the thing that here's the thing that you have to remember is establishing control comes right from the beginning. How do we establish control? Is by asking questions. And when we ask questions, it's very important that we listen for the answers. Quit pitching, stop doing that, quit pitching, and start talking. Start conversing with the merchant. Get to know them, build a relationship with them. Find out what their needs are. Find out where they need help on. Find out all this important information, and you can ask a simple question just like this. Now, Mr. Merchant, you're sitting right in front of them, and you're talking to them. You probably have dealt with many merchant service companies. You have a merchant company right now that you're with. If you had something to change about the merchant service industry or what you've dealt with, what are the top 2 things? Maybe top 1, top 2, or top 3. Whatever it may be, what are some of the things that you would like to see improve on with what you've dealt with in the past? Great. So what am I doing right now? I'm finding out some of their pain points. Now, here's where you need to listen. You need to find out. What if they say, I can't get a hold of my representative. I don't have the phone number. Okay. So now you know that's important to the merchant. Listening to the merchant. It takes too long for me to get my money. I'm waiting 2 to 3 days. It's important that I have my money in the bank the next day. And as they're talking, don't interrupt. Listen to the merchant. Shake your head up and down, right? And as soon as they're done talking, say, that's great, man. That's fantastic. I'm so glad that you brought that up, because the majority of the merchants that we've been helping out, you notice I'm using that word, the majority of the merchants that we've been helping out told us exactly the same thing. Let's get to the next day funding, right? What they love about us, and as soon as I told them the advantage of dealing with a direct processor, they're going to get their money in the bank the next day, the guy said to me, Rich, I don't care what it costs. That's what I want. How do I get set up with this today? And I bring it all out. So you're giving testimonies, and then you come back with a question. Can you see the importance, especially today, with merchants having the money in the bank the next day? Or can you see why merchants love dealing with a direct processor? Oh yeah, I mean, getting the money in the bank the next day, that's really important for us. Whatever it may be, you want to find out, right? I can never get a hold of my representative. Well, here's what merchants love about me, love dealing with our company. So you notice I'm not saying I'm different from everybody else, because every merchant service representative says that. I'm different from everybody else. They all say that, and they're going to say that to you. That's what the last guy said. But what I'm doing is I'm giving examples. Merchants love to hear positive testimonies from other businesses that you helped out. So here's how, for example, if a merchant says, I never can get a hold of our representative at all. Well, here's what merchants love about us. They love the fact they're dealing with a direct processor. They love the fact that they're dealing with me face to face. Every merchant has my cell phone number. If they can't get a hold of me, they leave me a message, and I follow up with them. So they love the fact that that happens. So important, listen to the merchant and find out what their pain points are. I hope this is making sense. You notice that I'm not pitching, I'm listening, I'm helping, I'm finding out what their needs are. Every merchant is unique. Please keep that in mind. Every merchant is special, and you want to treat them that way, and you want to make sure that you're helping them. The best salespeople are the best listeners. So you got that? So let's get back to that part where you say, typical guy comes in, wants to see your statement. We don't need to do that. What I do is the exact opposite. I show merchants some of our statements. As a matter of fact, let me run out to my car right now, if you don't have your book already, or your iPad, whatever you're showing it on, and you should have your presentation book. If you don't have one made up already, you can go to the website, for all of you Retriever representatives, and I've got a presentation book on there. You can download it, you can print them out, however you want to do it, and it's got who we are, it's got all the terminals on there, it's got statements that you can have so you can show to merchants. We will be adding more statements to that, so the goal is to have a merchant statement for every certain type of merchants. Merchants that have $5 tickets, $10 tickets, $50 tickets, $100 tickets, merchants that are flower shops that get a lot of call-in orders, merchants that deal with corporate cards. The goal is to have statements for everybody, so when you walk into the business, you can show them some examples of what they would be dealing with if they were with us, okay? So that's important. So make sure you do that. I'm going to grab my book, and the first thing that I'm going to do as I'm talking to the merchant, I have my book. I'm going to start out by giving an intro, and I'm going to give them a little commercial about who we are. Now, I got my pages as I'm going through it. Retriever is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. Here's, we're part of WorldPay if you're presenting the WorldPay program, traditional processing. A+ rated, #1 processor in the world Last year did 726 billion in processing throughout the world. Tell me if some of these companies sound familiar right now. And you should have that page where you're pointing them out. CVS, Office Depot, Walgreens, Cracker Barrel, Macy's, all those. They're partners with us. We do their processing. And what you're doing at that point is you're building up some credibility. You are building up your company. You're letting them know they're not dealing with some rinky-dink third-party merchant company. They are dealing with the best of the best. You're building up credibility. Merchants love the fact they deal with me face-to-face. It's not somebody from out of state. You know, they love the fact they're dealing with a local representative. They know they're going to be able to get a hold of me. They're going to love the customer service that we have. That's your commercial. That's what you're doing up front. And you'll see this on in the book. It's on page 18, and it shows Show the Presentation Book. And I get into all that part. It's all right here. Tell me if this sounds familiar. You know, typical merchant service rep comes in, he wants to look at your statement. We don't do that. What we do is we do the exact opposite. Now I'm going to go into education mode, okay? This is where you're building your credibility up and you're building the trust. Remember we talked about in the presentation, it's like, listen, and trust. Remember that. Like, listen, and trust. All right? So I'm going to lead into this and I'm going to say, now tell me if this sounds familiar. Now I don't want to make people feel stupid. You know, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to find out. I'm saying, have you ever, no, the biggest concern and complaint that I hear all the time from the merchants that I personally been helping out, nobody has ever sat down with them and broken this down to what all this stuff means right here. In fact, 99.9% never don't know. All they know is that a whole bunch of money comes out of their account every single month. Does that sound familiar? Am I pretty accurate with that? Oh yeah. Well, have you ever heard the term interchange at all? And I'm asking the merchant that. And they'll say, yeah, I think so, or not really. What is it? Now again, don't make the people feel stupid at all. You don't want to say, what, are you an idiot? You don't know what that, you know, don't do that. Even looking at them funny, all right? So interchange. If they say, no, I haven't heard of that at all, well, you're in the majority. 99% of the businesses I've been helping out, they haven't heard of it either. So compliment them. If they have heard of it, yeah, it's what some of the charges are. Well, that's great because you're ahead of most people because most people don't know that. So then you give a little explanation of what it is. Interchange is what the bank issuers, the card issuers are charging. They set a rate on that card. Debit being the lowest, depending on where that debit card came from the bigger banks, it's even lower. Usually it's in up to 1%, 0.5%, could be more, could be less. And then you've got credit cards, and then you've got rewards cards, and guess who gets to pay for the rewards? You know, those points, those add up as well. Then you've got cards that are manually keyed in, that brings the interchange rate up. And then you've got corporate cards, that brings it up a little bit higher. That's cost. That's all part of cost. And then you have what they call card brand organizational fees. You know, that's all in their assessments, they call them. Typically that's 0.13, 0.14%. That's what the credit card brands are charging on the card. Now that's cost right there. Okay, keep that in mind. Just like you have your own business, you have a certain amount of cost, right? If anybody comes in here, and I say this to the merchant, if they say, we are going to lower your interchange, either they're misrepresenting or they don't know what they're talking about. It's one of those two. So now you know, going forward, you know a lot more than most merchants do. That's part of cost. The key is to keep your processing fee as low as possible over the cost. That's where we come in. Now, as a direct processor, all we add is just whatever you're doing, and we've got flexibility there. Typically, 0.25%, 0.25% plus 8 cents. That's all we do. That's the processing end of it. But the bottom line is what is your bottom line? Would you agree with that? Because anybody can come in here and they can quote a rate, but when you're paying 3, 4, 5% overall, that doesn't mean anything at all. Would you guys agree with that? Now I've got a nice rapport going on with the merchant. You've noticed that I have not had to look at a statement at all, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask them. Now, in a typical month, Mr. Merchant, now at this point I've got a good rapport going on with the merchant. Let me ask you this. What do you find that you're normally doing in credit and debit card processing right now? I know there's no such thing as a typical month, but what would you say the average is right now? Let them come up with a number, right? It could be anywhere from 8 to 10,000 a month. Okay, well that's good. That you're my typical merchant that I've been helping out. Now, my experience, this is where the comparison comes in. My experience with the merchant service company that you're with right now, your fees overall, if you're doing 10,000 a month, let's say it's a tire shop, right? Average ticket 50 to 100 bucks. I'm going to throw out a number that's pretty typical. So I'm going to say average, your fees based on 10,000 are probably in the ballpark of 300 to 350 for the month. Does that sound pretty accurate? Now they're going to respond. They're going to say, yeah, as a matter of fact, it was like 400 and something last month. Then I'll say, I was kind of being nice when I brought that up. I figured it was a little bit more than that, but that's pretty accurate. So what do I have right now? Think about this. I have a number and I've got a comparison. You notice I did not have to look at a statement at all. All they know is they're paying 10,000 a month and their fees were 400. So I've got a comparison factor right there. So we're going to take a short break. Again, I'm not rushing through this. I'll review it. I want to make sure you get this, and then we're going to cover a couple things. We'll close the show. Very important, valuable information. This is going to be very helpful for you. Let's take a short break. I'll be right back.
Hi, we're Rich and Lee Norton with the Hands and Feet Foundation. Hands and Feet is a wonderful ministry where we serve on the west side of Jacksonville, Florida.
And this is a ministry that's near and dear to our heart. There's so many wonderful things that happen out there. Come to 7478 103rd Street, Jacksonville, Florida, or you can go to handsandfeetfoundation.org, or if you want to go to Facebook, Hands and Feet West Side. Come and see what we do. Check us out if you'd like to give or if you'd like to donate your time, whatever it may be. I mean, we're just loving this ministry. Love for you to be part of it as well. All right, my friends, I am right back here with you, and I'm very happy to share this information with you. Again, going through it slow because I want to make sure you got this. This is the information that I teach during the training program. And once you get through this and you're presenting this to a merchant with the attitude of educating and helping them, and you're conveying that message, you're going to have great success with it. So keep that in mind. So when you have gotten that from the merchant, we broke that down. It says 10,000 a month, 400. Now what I'm going to do, because I have in my book some merchant statements to show where they would be with us. Now, do you think that this is going to be very effective? Absolutely, because I'm comparing numbers right now. The numbers don't lie. I'll say, now, let me show you the difference of why merchants love us and merchants are real happy about being with a direct processor. Notice I keep that in third person. Here's a merchant right here. They did 10,000 for the month. It shows their deposits, and you're showing a statement to them. Shows the money went in the bank the next day. Here is the bottom line. On our program, they did 10,000. I have a statement in my book that shows, see that number right there? That's the total, and the number is 155. Do I have their attention right now? Wow, that's all they paid? We paid 400 and it was 155. Here's another merchant on this program. They did 11,000. They paid 164, right? Big difference right there. So I have their attention. Now we're going to cover this in more shows because very important. Please, please, please understand this, that The average ticket is what makes the difference when it comes to the overall effective rate. As a matter of fact, I'm going to cover that in the next episode, and that's very important that you get that information. It's very important that you understand that, because there's no way, please understand this, there's no way that we're going to have an ice cream shop or a coffee shop and say, oh, you did 10,000 and paid 500, it's only going to be 150 with us. That is not going to happen. That's why it's important you understand, and I'll explain why average tickets and how they do their cards and the area that they're in and what type of cards completely makes a difference. That's why it's important that you have in your book statements, example statements of merchants with merchants like them, with average tickets like them, and we'll cover that. So I covered like an auto repair statement, a tire shop statement of where they would be with us, okay? So I want to get an accurate description of where they're going to be with us. I don't want any misrepresentation. I don't want them to get their first statement and say, hey, you told me it was going to be this, and then they get their statement, it's not. So very, very important that you comprehend and you totally get this. So we're going to end on that note. Next show that we do, we are going to cover exactly how that breaks down, and we'll get into finishing up that presentation. So I'm going to spend a lot of time on this because it's important that you really get this down. So I hope this is helpful. Let's conclude the show with this amazing day. Today's a great day. Celebrate every day. Every day is a gift from God. What you do with the day is your gift right back to God. Make it a good one. I'll see you next time on RMS Sales Training and Inspiration.